So, how many cupcakes does it take to screw in a light bulb? The answer is 0. Fascists have other people screw in their fucking light bulbs. What is up, you sinners and saints, my fellow godless peoples? Welcome back to The Rage. I'm your boy Nakasuchi, and we're looking at a cupcake again. So, Cupcake had this sermon. I've already started covering it, and it's called like the atheist religion or some bullshit, and we're just gonna continue where we left off.
It's amazing to me how they define themselves. So let's talk about the definition of atheism. So atheists, what they define themselves as is somebody that lacks belief. They say, well, we don't have any beliefs. Well, is that your belief that you don't have a belief?
You know, I just don't think that atheists say that. I mean, if some atheists do, I don't think that most atheists believe that. Belief, right? You know, like I have a belief that the Detroit Lions, if there is a football season this year, is gonna probably suck ass. That's a belief I have. Now, it's a belief based on history and fucking evidence, but it's a belief because I don't know that shit yet. You know, I have a belief that all human beings are inherently good and inherently evil, and that human beings are both, you know, capable of that. And that's based on history too, and personal experience, you know, my view on the reality of the world. And I would admit that that's a fucking belief. And I would also admit that you have a belief in God. That's a belief. I don't share that belief. I think that that's what atheists are saying.
Logic with me. The Bible says, they say, don't you believe in reason? Yeah, the Bible says, come, let us reason together, saith the Lord. Of course I believe in reason. And it's amazing to me. The dictionary definition, they say, well, we don't have any beliefs. The dictionary definition of atheism is the belief that there is no God.
Logic with me. Again, I just don't think atheists really say that. I don't say that. I don't say that I don't have a belief. I've got lots of beliefs. I mean, I fucking believe my daughter's a really good kid. Again, I can compare my daughter to other children I see, and I can be like, hey, you know, I think I got a pretty good fucking kid.
We don't have any belief. Well, wait a minute. Every dictionary, here's another dictionary, the belief that God does not exist, the doctrine that there is no God. So when they try to imagine up this fake definition of what they did, and here's the thing, they define themselves by what they don't believe in.
No, I don't. No, I don't. You know, I called myself the Raging Atheist because raging fits my personality. I get emotional. I will rage. It's what I do. And I called myself an atheist just embracing the label. Embracing the label that you and your ilk have demonized, that society demonizes. Trying to normalize what I am because what I am is normal. I just don't believe in a fucking God. But I don't define myself by my lack of belief in God. I try to define myself by my humanism. I try to define myself by my knowledge of myself and knowing that, hey, I'm good and bad. I'm flawed. I'm not some perfect human being, and I've never portrayed myself to be so. I can be a complete and fucking utter ass. I'm a dick. And I've never ran away from that. That's what makes me who I am. It's not my lack of belief in a God. It's my ability to try to overcome that. It's my ability to see all human beings as equal. It's my ability to fight for what I think is right. That's what makes me who I am.
What if I said, well, I'm going to define myself as somebody that doesn't like to go fishing? What kind of sense does that make? Yeah. I define myself as a Christian, and what that means is I believe in Jesus. They define themselves as, oh, well, I'm a non-believer in Jesus. What kind of definition is that? Yeah. That's wild.
I don't define myself as a non-believer in Jesus. I define myself as a human being with political motivations. I define myself as a father. I define myself as a worker, as a good worker, a hard worker, somebody that's worked his entire life. I define myself as somebody that is succumbing to medical conditions, somebody that lives in chronic pain. That's how I define myself.
Now, this isn't just like, and Richard Dawkins says, well, religion is just mental illness. It's it poisons the mind. Well, it's amazing to me. Is that why 99% of school shootings are done by atheists?
That is just not true. Most school shootings are committed by Christians. Most people in this country are Christians. You can't really show me an atheist school shooter. Like, I'm sure you can. And I can point out so many more that weren't atheists, but were Christian. Like, I don't even know what the fuck Matt Powell is talking about right there. And religious folk are so quick to point out the atheists that call believing in a God delusional or a mental illness. I'm not one of those atheists. I don't think any of that bullshit. I think that it's rhetorical rhetoric designed to piss theists off. And I've used that rhetoric in the past to piss theists off, but I don't really think that. But Christians really think that about us. And I think people need to understand that comes from a place, like when atheists say that I think it comes from a place of just hearing it so much about ourselves that we just push it on to other people. And that's why I really try to speak out against that, because atheists need to realize that you don't need to be as shitty as they are.
But yet Christians have their minds poisoned, yet Christians have never committed such an act.
Again, Christians have committed plenty of those acts. Like, most school shootings are like right-wing nutbags, right? I mean, it's just such a ridiculous assertion backed up by no evidence whatsoever.
Why is it that if you say that Christians have their minds poisoned, why is it then they turn around and say, oh, well, you guys, religion's so dangerous to the public, yet atheists lead the world in suicide? They make the dumbest decisions possible. I'm sorry, suicide, I don't care where you are, I don't care who you are. Suicide's not a good idea, it's a sin. God said not to do it. Now, we know Saul did it, and we know Saul's with the Lord.
Again, please show me your evidence that atheists are the biggest demographics of suicide. Atheists are a very small portion of this society. Now, people that don't claim to have a God is growing, but people that claim to be atheists isn't that number, and atheism is growing in this country, but we're still a very small demographic. So I would need to see fucking evidence, Matt Powell, and trust me, like, I looked for it. I didn't see no evidence that atheism is the biggest demographic for suicide. Suicide is a serious problem across all demographics, and the majority of people that commit suicide are 65 years and older. Maybe Matt Powell should understand what the fuck he's talking about before he tries to preach with authority to human beings. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. I was about to go real SJW, raging snowflake on you guys. I actually believe in free speech, but this is a serious problem. And I'm not even sure if this is actually free speech or free brainwashing. And I really like how Matt Powell acknowledges just how fucking hypocritical his whole worldview is right there at the end of this. He straight up tells you, God really doesn't like suicide. God thinks it's really bad. But Saul did it, and Saul's up in heaven. I mean, what does that say about the consistency of your God? But don't worry, y'all. I've only scratched the surface of this sermon. I'm going to move on. I'm going to do a few other videos. Maybe, the Bible is stupid video. And then I'm going to come back and do some more cupcake videos, because it's just so much fucking fun. As always, I'm your boy Nakasuchi. This is The Rage. If you like these videos, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share in the comment section, all that jazz. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we have a live stream or every time I put out a new video. Check out the Apostate Alliance every Sunday at 11 a.m. Learn about Islam and learn about all these new atheists coming away from Islam. Support them. I'll see you soon.